Well, just when I thought I had this son of a gun fixed, it started doing the same thing. So you turn it on. You hear that? It just hums. All right, so what that is the motor not engaging to turn the fan. So something is caught again. So we're gonna take this sucker apart. Safety first, always, always, always unplug, because that's 240 volts. All right, then we're gonna get this top panel off by removing these two screws, and then we'll go from there. All right, once you've taken out these two screws here, you just simply pull this back a little bit, and you'll see it fits on a latch. So it latches on here in the corner, and you'll be able to pull it right off. All right, the front panel is pretty easy to take off. They just sit in here. They lock in these little grooves here. You just want to loosen those up and then pry it off. And then what we're going to do is disconnect that little wire there so that this guy can be put off to the side. All right, now that's off, we're going to take 4 screws and remove them here. All right, now that those 4 screws are off, we need to take off these 2 right here. There's one here and one here. All right, with those 2 screws off around the drum, this should be able to fall right off like this. You want to disconnect this little guy here. Okay, and then it fits inside of a groove there. There's 3 of them. You just pull it right up and off. Put that off to the side. So it's these 3 grooves here. Once you got that off, then we need to take off this this piece here. So this is, I believe, 5 screws. There's one here, one here, one up top here, one over here, and one here. All right, now that we got this stabilizer piece off, I'm going to pull this wire through here and untwist this wire as well. Pull that through here. We want to unplug the light bulb. Pull that, get that through the, untwist these here, so we can pull this wire out. I'm going to take this and put it off to the side. Now we're ready to take the main panel off. So that's 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you don't have to worry about this falling because it has nice little latches that they fit in. So you can see it right there. Okay, with the screws undone here, we're going to take out the lint catcher. Okay, and then we're going to take this piece off here, and this requires 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. We'll get that off here. All right, so now that we got this off, we're going to take our flashlight here and take a look and see what's going on. So I don't see anything stuck in the fan. Let me see if I can hold that. Yeah, so the fan's rotating just fine. So I think what's going on is we've got something caught to where the motor is not engaging. So we have to take this thing off and figure it out. We're probably going to have to take the drum off as well. All right, so to get our drum off, we're going to have to take the lever here and pull it towards us a little bit to undo the belt. Pull it this way, sorry, not towards us, but pull it to the left a little bit, get that belt off, and then we'll take the drum off so we'll be able to see what's going on, whether or not the motor's engaging. All right, now that we got the drum off, so this little guy here, this little black cylinder, that's supposed to push forward. I don't know if you can see that, but that, what looks like a ring there, that's supposed to push forward when the engine engages or when the motor engages. And that's what allows the spin to happen. So electricity comes to the motor here, and then it pushes that forward and releases that latch down there. I don't know if you can see that. That allows this thing to spin. Okay, so found the problem. So you see that latch, when it's pushing it forward, is not going back. So that would cause this to break very easily, and that's why it's not engaging. So I can push it all the way forward, but then it doesn't go back. So a little bit of bad news. The latch on the motor that engages the motor is broken, so I have to order a new motor. It is December 22nd, and I ordered it on Amazon, the replacement motor. It'll be here Christmas Eve. What a way to spend Christmas Eve, fixing your dryer. Until then, we're gonna have to use the neighbor's dryer. All right, whatever. All right, so it's Christmas Eve and Amazon delivered. Here is our new motor for our dryer that's completely unusable right now. All right, let's get this thing unwrapped and take a look at what we got to do. So there she is. All right, let's get this thing out of the box and let's start taking the old one out and get this thing put in. All right, so this is gonna replace this. So I've got to dis here and somehow figure out how this pulley and lever thing is attached. Oh gosh, Merry Christmas to me. All right, so we got the drum assembly back on. And so we can see now that the drum turns, okay? And that means the fan underneath is spinning. So we've got the cover plate put back in, all the electricals back in. Now we're gonna put the stabilizer plate in. And once we get that in, we'll put the door in and then the panel, and we should be good to go to put power back on. We got stabilizer back on. Now we're ready to take the door and put the door back on. And this door is actually relatively easy to do. It's got these 3 latches at the bottom. You see those? And you got some empty space in there. You just literally slide it onto the latch like that. And then shove it right back in. Now it's got these clips here that it should lock into. And we'll go ahead and get that in. We got these 4 screws in up top. Last thing we're going to do is make sure we get these 2. Go ahead and put our lint trap back in. All right. Now we should be able to close the door. And now we're going to put this panel back in. All right, so our panel's back on. Now we're just going to put that lid back on. So we're going to have to pull this out to put the lid in. Plug it back in, make sure all the connections are solid, and give it a whirl, see if she starts up and the motor engages. Okay, so we got the vent reattached, and we got this sucker plugged back in. So now let's go over here, kick it on, and let's see if it engages. Oh, you hear that? Kicked right on. Music to my ears. All right, so what I wanted to show you guys before, which was pretty difficult to see prior, but that little latch right there, this is the old motor, obviously, but see this latch here is attached by a spring, and it's supposed to, it kicks forward when the electrical current gets pushed into the motor, which engages the rotor to spin. Well, this sucker was opening and closing at random, which is why I replaced it. Believe it or not, I got this on Amazon for 50 bucks. It's a brand new part. It's an OEM model, and 2-day shipping. So totally worth it. But that's how our Christmas ended, with a dryer that works.